President Trump is taking his border wall campaign to South Texas today after blowing up talks to end the partial government shutdown by walking out of the room. The president had asked congressional leaders for a commitment to pay for a wall after the government reopens, but Democratic House Leader Nancy Pelosi said no.
The president tweeted that the meeting was, quote, a total waste of time, and said he told Pelosi, bye-bye, nothing else works. He plans a series of events in McAllen, Texas this afternoon. Major Garrett is at the border checkpoint in the nearby town of Hidalgo. Major, good morning.
Good morning. President Trump wasn't interested in making this trip. I heard him say it'd be a waste of time. So did other reporters. That was at an off-the-record lunch earlier this week at the White House. A news organization has reported about that. The president's tweeted about it, so it's more or less out there. What the president also said is what he meant is that this one trip was unlikely to change anyone's mind, that both sides are entrenched and unable to agree on the most basic set of facts. That was clear after yesterday's most recent negotiating session. The president is traveling to Texas, leaving a sea of shutdown acrimony in his wake.
We saw a temper tantrum because he couldn't get his way.
Democratic leaders are unwilling to even negotiate.
Their behavior is embarrassing to me.
It is unacceptable to put 800,000 people at risk.
He thinks maybe they could just ask their father for more money, but they can't.
Congressional leaders offered conflicting accounts of a meeting with the president aimed at reopening the government that instead descended into disarray.
When Leader Pelosi said she didn't agree with the wall, he just walked out and said we have nothing to discuss.
She began to argue whether we even have a crisis or whether facts are true.
As federal workers feel the pain of the shutdown, Washington bickers about who is negotiating and who isn't.
Well, the president walked into the room, passed out candy.
Despite that sweetener, the talks remained sour. And after a meeting with Republican senators, the president was asked by reporters if the rank and file is standing by his shutdown strategy.
They're with us all the way.
The White House has shifted its message from shutdown enthusiasm.
I am proud to shut down the government for border security, Chuck.
To exaggerated claims about terrorist crossings at the southern border.
Nearly 4,000 known or suspected terrorists come into our country illegally.
To emphasizing migrant suffering. It's humanitarian, right? Not terrorist.
It's actually both.
To considering declaring a national emergency in order to sidestep Congress and use Pentagon funds for the wall.
I have the absolute right to do national emergency if I want. My threshold will be if I can't make a deal with people that are unreasonable. There is an emerging theory in the White House that this national emergency declaration might be the best way, might be the only way out of the shutdown. It would give the president the money he wants for the border wall, allow him to sign the bills to reopen the government. Yes, there'd be political fallout and blowback, legal challenges, but the White House theory believes those are fights worth making. John?
So, Major, if the president does go that route and declares a national emergency, what agency builds the wall?
Army Corps of Engineers, made up mostly of civilians. Interestingly, the Secretary of the Army and the Chief Engineer of the Army Corps of Engineers coming with the president here today. About $20 billion in unspent Pentagon funds available to the president for this use, so we might be seeing that in the not-too-distant future.
All right. Thanks, Major.